It is the final episode of this session of Poker Time.
Don't cry, Jonathan. Stop crying.
We're playing 5-10.
Hey, king's on the first hand.
Been on there for a while.
That's an auspicious sign for the new solstice or something.
Yeah, well said. We are playing 5-10, but there's a straddle on the button, and we see Digital Dan is just calling with the kings.
You're like, now that I know.
This is the old try to re-raise move, which is not going to work out. Wonka's too savvy to raise the Jack 4 of hearts.
Indeed. Mustache could have raised, but chose not to. 6-5 deuce rainbow. Well, there's a gut shot for Wonka, and of course, Digital Dan with the whole thing.
The problem with the whole limp re-raise strategy is that sometimes they don't raise, and now you really don't know what types of hands you're up against as Dan.
Yeah.
He's going to define it pretty well with a pot-sized bet here.
Yep, and that was that. I mean, Dan at least knows that he's under-repped, even though, you know, he may still end up running into some really big hands. Like, so he has to keep that in mind.
See, that's actually a compounding problem, right? You tell yourself you're under-repped, and then you don't have any sense of your opponent's ranges because it's a limp pot.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, oh, I'm under-repped, I have to call. And then you lose $2,000.
Okay, but you know, if you know who your opponent is, like you can be like, I'm under rep, so like I'm beating more of this guy's.
Everybody's
range than I
wearing
otherwise would
masks.
be.
How can you know who your opponent is?
Well, we
It's
know
like everybody's Batman.
we know who everyone is. We have graphics that say.
Everybody's Clark Kent. They put glasses on, and you're like, what? Who are you?
You ever notice that Clark Kent and Batman are never in the same room at the same time?
I can't imagine them being in the same room, actually.
Except that one terrible scene in Justice League. All right, Stewart is calling the raise to 30. Sam opens 4 deuce. You may be wondering why. That's because the Digital Dan hand that he loves playing more than any is 4 deuce off, and so a lot of people play it.
He's basically the Doyle Brunson of Portland, Oregon. People play a terrible hand in his honor.
It's kind of true.
Yeah.
4 deuce, big miss. 10s for both Wheel and Stewie. Or Stu, as he likes to be called now that he's older. This is a pretty clear C-bet for Sam on this ace-high board, I think.
Yeah. I mean, he's got nothing going on except for a range advantage. Let's take advantage of it.
Yep. Bets 50 into 95. Stewart probably has to call once. You think?
I think so, and this puts Wheel in a weird spot. I think you can fold his Wheel.
If we had the King of Hearts, I think we have a pretty straightforward call, but it's not unreasonable at all to fold here when Sam opens under the gun. It's okay to call, though, too, for 50, I think, closing the action. Can't be that bad.
No, but I would be very concerned that if Sam's not beating me, that Stewart is.
Sure, of course. No, we're going to have to really pay attention to how things play out from here. You
I
know?
don't think Sam can keep going on this card after getting called twice. I think he's got to just give up, even though it might and probably would work. What do you think?
I mean, if we think, yeah, we just are up against too many aces,
Yeah.
right? And they're at least one of them's going to hold on, you would assume.
And even some King Jacks, you know?
Yep. Well, that's an interesting card. The heart comes in as well. Sam has a heart.
He could try to rep hearts or trip aces.
You got to like when everybody checks and Wheel checks again. Obviously, Wheel could have trip aces here and check because the heart comes. But I can understand Sam deciding with 4 deuce, you just got to take a shot.
I think he's got to be able to fold out Stewart's weak trip aces sometimes to take this shot.
I think both these guys are going to have to fold, and I think Sam is probably going to take it down.
Looks like it, and he's definitely going to show it.
Yeah, everyone always shows the 4 deuce. I think Sam was going to probably fire in a lot of rivers and probably get it through a lot.
Thank you.
Sam pulling the Elvis there.
Mm-hmm. It's like 2009 over here. Random aggression wins.
Yeah. Dan Ross, the big winner so far. Wheel, the big loser.
It's always on.
Nobody getting completely crushed.
Always on.
Always on.
So far.
If the software let us, we would be playing it. But
Did we miss a bomb pot?
Where is it?
oh,
shit. Okay, next time.
We'll back it up next time.
Digital Dan is straddling on the button.
Well, that's going to be a project.
Sam with the ace-7 suited, gonna just limp, see what happens.
Dan Ross bumps it up with the queen jack.
Looks like 70. Yep.
Yep.
Call 70.
Mustache wants those middle suited cards. He's like Daniel Negreanu, this guy.
A little ambitious there, but, you know, this hand does play pretty well, and he is in position against both players. That's pretty good for him.
I've never been there.
Living the dream.
Well, interesting flop.
Dan Ross out flops everybody, but Mustache does have the 7 high flush draw. Sam's probably just done with
It
it.
is right across
Yep.
the street from Venetian.
Mustache has a great chance to win this pot,
It's not so bad. Have you seen that?
but he checks.
I am surprised he does not take a stab
Wow.
Now he's
Incredible
open-ended.
turn. Incredible turn.
there. You got to take a shot at as Mustache at this point.
I mean, Dan Ross is probably going to bet now, right?
I think you can raise.
Yeah, I think he should raise. I think Dan should bet. Oh, Dan checks again. Dan can now call a lot of turns. Dan's beating some of this value range now when it checks through and he bets the turn, right? You're beating an 8. You're beating other queens.
Yep.
This is a pretty straightforward call now for Dan.
Yeah, you're repping a very different thing when you bet than if you raised. If you
Yeah.
raised
It's the
as
only
Mustache, you're
triple
mostly
play shot
repping
I've
like
seen in
a
Vegas.
set of
I've seen
8s.
the ones that have been.
Well, that's an interesting card. You got to think you're never good as Mustache, but he just taps the table and
Yeah.
hopes that Dan Ross has ace 10 or something.
I think Dan Ross really might have called the river. So,
He really might have. I agree.
I don't know. When the 7 comes, it's not a great card, but it's not too bad. This is where, like, a Mustache should bet the flop and the turn. I think he usually wins.
Yeah. Mustache could rep 9-10 on that river. That would have been a
Yep.
double gutter on the turn.
Yep. And also, there's some 2 pairs. 8-7 comes in.
Yeah.
Buttons moving back to Russell for the bomb pot.
So we've got a bomb pot coming up,
Okay.
which means it's probably Omaha and probably double board.
All right, get your frickin' everything ready because
Get everything ready, including
it's a lot. It's a lot for us.
If you have a scooter, get it ready.
I will say this: there are some viewers who do not think we do this part of the job very well.
Who does though?
No one, because no one else is trying.
Yeah.
We're the only people in the world who even try to do this. But we're trying, and it's hard, and we don't even have, the software helping us because it can only see one of the 2 boards.
Stop making excuses. Let's fuck this up.
All right, we're going to do this like G.I. Joe,
What?
competently.
Oh,
Like,
is that the emblem of competence?
sure. 7, ace, 3, 2 hearts in the second board. 9, 6, deuce, 2 spades.
Not much for Digital Dan on these boards, as we see.
Yeah, 1 pair on each, yeah.
We'll see the other hands eventually. Looks like Wheel has found reason to bet, and that is that he has top pair on one board and an overpair on the other.
He actually has top 2
Oh,
on
top
the top
2.
board.
Yeah, and an overpair on the bottom
Sure,
board.
that's at least a reasonable spot to bet.
Yep.
Getting raised would suck
Just chickens.
Dan Ross coming along with an unknown hand.
currently. There it is.
Got a gut shot on top, double gutter.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like a lot of different straight draws on top.
He's basically got a wrap on top.
Yeah,
And
and 2 pair on the bottom.
yeah, that 7 does not help him. I guess Dan Ross now has an open ender on the bottom as
Yep.
well as his wrap on top. So he's got lots of straight draws, but the board is now paired.
Russell sitting here with top on top and kings on the bottom.
Yep. Dan lets it go. Not shocking. Russell's gonna call, and Wheel, of course, with the full house on top. These guys are looking like a chop right now. And it is going to be a chop if they get to showdown.
I like betting as Wheel.
I like betting a lot as Wheel because I'm not sure if I'm winning the bottom, but I
Yep.
know
He
I'm
does.
winning the
He
top.
does bet a lot. This is cool.
Bets almost full pot, and now you don't love it if you're Russell.
You're pretty sure you're losing one of the 2 boards.
Oh, for sure you're losing one of the 2 unless Wheel's completely lost his mind. So you're only calling for half the pot anyway, and you're only mediocre really in both spots. You have 1 pair in each spot. I can understand folding for
Yeah.
sure.
Nice bet by Wheel.
Yeah.
We didn't do so bad that time.
Well, we wouldn't know though. We're not qualified to even know how well
Who
we did.
is?
There are some people out there who think they are, and they
Sure.
critique us.
Enjoy your internet comments.
I'm just saying. Definitely heard from some of the viewers about we could do better with this part of it. We're trying. We're trying. It's hard.
Yeah, you figure out the double board bomb pot with no
Yeah.
software, you jerks.
Yeah. Yeah, you jerks.
Yeah.
Why is everyone so mean? That's what I want to know.
It's global warming.
Bully culture. It's
That's
bully
bully
culture.
bully culture, okay.
Got the vibe of a rave without.
Especially on the internet. That's the one place I thought I wouldn't find bullies. Okay, it says 4 cards, but Dan Ross has 2 cards. I'll tell you right now, they're going to have to wind this one back on the software.
Yep.
At some point, the interns will figure it out, but we'll just do our best. Russell with the limp. There we go. Here comes the wind back.
I love watching the wind back happen.
I love it too.
In real time.
I like predicting the wind back. You know?
That's
I
like
can see it.
That's like something that Nikola Tesla would have said.
So Russell limps with the 4 deuce off.
So he's honoring Digital Dan in a different way. Everybody worships differently.
Now we're 3-handed, and top pair for Stu, which is not good for Russell, though he did hit a pair himself. Gut shot, by the way, for Sam, who is apparently not in the hand. It's unclear.
Yeah, but Vegas has safety regulations. Like
Well, Stewart is, and he's got top pair.
He's going to check call the 30. I guess Sam just folded. He was in the hand.
Ooh,
Oh, my goodness.
The 4 deuce striketh again.
If
Yes. You got to bet, Russell.
you have to bet.
There you go.
75 and a 90. I don't hate it at all.
Stewart has to call one more.
Yeah, look at this wet board. You absolutely have to call. You don't have a spade in your hand. All the draws missed. You have top pair. This would be a very exploitive fold if he makes it.
Call turn, fold river unless you really have a reason to call the river, I
Yeah.
guess.
So you've been.
Well, that's a scary card for everybody.
It might just go check, check.
I would expect it to.
Yeah, I could.
I think Russell's right to check it there.
Hey-yo.
That's what you want. You want the table tap from Dan. That just gets you through a whole week right there.
Man, it's like everyone is doing this just to impress Dan. Like, who cares, man? Like, look, everybody. There's not even like, it's one thing to win if there's a bounty for the 4 deuce, but there's no bounty.
It's for Dan.
This isn't Bad Kid Begins. You know, we don't have to like, we don't have to go out of our way to like make Dan's wish come true every time.
Are you so shocked by the reverence these players have for the digital one?
No, I guess I'm not.
He has his own song,
He has a
action
song.
figure to come.
Yep. Actually, a YouTube series, and I don't mean like the kind of YouTube stuff we do, like one of the good YouTube Red, you know, like serious series
yeah.
coming. It's half documentary, half scripted. It's gonna be really interesting. I've seen a preview.
They couldn't get on Crackle. They had to get on YouTube Red.
YouTube Red is better than Crackle. It pays a lot better. Crackle basically plays nothing. You know that.
Yeah.
You know that.
I was taking a shot at YouTube Red, which maybe I shouldn't do on YouTube.
Yeah, that was.
They might come after us.
You don't
now.
think the algorithm picked that up? It definitely picked.
I
that
love
up.
YouTube Red. Buy it.
Anyway, we have a strut on the button. It looks like, and it looks like Sam's just gonna take it down. The Jack 3.
That's how you play it. Didn't they have Cobra Kai and nobody watched it, and then Netflix bought it and everybody watched it?
They did 2 seasons of Cobra Kai, but yes, no one really watches YouTube Red at all. But still, more people watch that than Crackle.
Does Crackle even exist?
I was just gonna ask you that, and the fact that neither of us know is telling. Poor Crackle.
I watched one movie on Crackle once, like 6 years ago.
It's so hard to with all those ads.
It was
man.
year 1.
Oh, really? With Jack Black and
Yeah.
Michael Cera, right?
Yeah.
How was that?
It was, this is what you expect.
I tried to watch Your Highness recently.
Oh,
which
that movie is not good.
I tried for a little while, though. Dan Ross with 2 10s. It's not even fair. When Dan Ross gets a good hand, I mean, come on.
I feel like you're making fun of Dan Ross.
I'm
and
not
I
making
don't
fun
know
of
why.
him. I'm not making fun of him. I'm just making fun of when people say stuff like that.
Really, because it sounded like you were basically saying Dan Ross is a putz who doesn't deserve to be here, is what it
I'm just
sounds.
saying, people say that kind of stuff oh, Tom Dwan has aces. Oh, it's so unfair. No, Tom Dwan gets aces as much as everyone else. Stop acting like he doesn't. It's a stupid
Ooh,
thing.
Well, this is a little unfair, actually.
Yeah.
10s against jacks.
So Dan Ross just limp called, though, the 10s. He could have put in a re-raise for sure.
That would have made things quite interesting.
Well, this makes things quite interesting. 7-7-3.
He's going to lose some money unless he improves.
Yeah, I'm sure he's in check call mode here.
Didn't even get any points for that.
Almost always.
Leading is an interesting thought in this exact spot, actually.
Yep. Sam is going to bet.
Mostly just targeting exactly the type of hand that Dan has.
Yeah.
10s, 9s, 8s,
Smaller pocket pairs.
6s, 5s.
And you're also just betting to protect equity, right?
Sure.
Look, he's only betting 85 into like 240. So he's just trying to fold out like overcards
Ooh,
also.
jack on the turn.
Well-
Sam fears nothing now.
Yep.
Should probably keep betting. He did get called on the flop.
1,000% you should keep betting. Build that pot. What if once in a while Dan actually has a 7? It's not impossible.
It is not impossible. It's unlikely. He did call 100 pre-flop out of the worst position at the table.
You'd have to have 7x suited. But he already put 20 in.
It'd have to be a pretty good 7x suit, like 7-8, 6-7, or ace-7 probably.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, like 7-8.
This would be an exploitative kind of nitty fold by Dan, but
I agree. At this price, I'd be really surprised.
but Sam's bluffs at this point are just I'm c-betting. They don't really have anything to do with board coordination.
He could have turned a heart draw,
Yeah,
but that ace is now going to make it really
that's going to
hard.
kill the action.
Yeah, because if Sam turned the heart draw, he usually has the ace of hearts in his hand. He could have ace queen of hearts here pretty easily, or even just ace king with the ace of hearts and a bet the turn. Obviously, Sam is going to fire. I can't imagine Dan is going to call this one, though.
Clear slide that tube that goes down. into
If you're
the
Sam, how do you want to size this?
Shark Tank.
I want to get called by hands like Dan has,
Well, then you got to size. I mean, so what do you want to do?
like 250.
Ugh.
Well, yeah, but
I don't think there's any hope that Dan has an ace. Really,
You need him to
ever.
have. You need Dan to have the ace x of hearts and have called once on the flop.
He goes big here.
Ace 3 of hearts. You can ace 3 of hearts exactly.
Yeah, that's it though.
Yeah, it's not great.
I think you got to size smaller. I kind of understand Sam's trying to like level him.
Yeah.
But
Also, just big hand, big pot.
I think it's
maybe.
kind of a hope and a prayer to think that Dan might have an ace in his hand there. It seems
He's-
very
he-
unlikely.
He's trying to get called by a 7, I think, when he bets like that, right? Also, that's the other thing that can pay him off.
7 didn't check raise the turn or the flop.
Yeah, no, it's true. But if we bet small, we might get check raised anyway by a 7. So betting small isn't necessarily
Yeah.
bad against a 7 anyway. Like if we bet 250, a 7 may feel like it has to raise.
Yeah. Like, oh, you're trying to get value out of your ace queen of hearts.
Yeah. Of course, we may just fold that out, but still, you might feel like just you got to try.
Only in poker.
Yeah.
Don't you got to try? Anyway, back to the game.
We were just talking about the game.
Oh,
Did you
back
think
to the current game, the current hand. No straddle on the button this time. Russell once again limping. This time a little better than the 4 deuce off.
Depends on your perspective.
Yes. Yes, it does.
Got
Well,
some big hands behind him.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here. So Stuart gonna raise
And me together.
I think we did this once.
275, something like that.
It's like 310.
315.
Oh, 340.
I think it's 315.
240.
240.
Nailed it.
Well, we were all pretty wrong there.
You cannot call this, Russell. Gotta let it go. He wants to call you.
He does call. Wow.
I don't know about that one.
Wheel obviously never gonna fold 210s here, no matter what.
Gonna be uncomfortable, but
He could also take the other route.
Yep.
I don't hate it when when Russell calls behind him at all.
Yeah,
to
Russell
say-
almost never has better than 10.
There's a lot of money in there. You could just put in the big raise right now and be committed and hope that Stu either folds or has a hand like this.
I just snuck in.
Every time he has an overpair, he's probably calling, but
Yeah, that's the maybe Jaxie can find a fold.
maybe. But still, I'd probably just shove it in because I don't like having 3 players.
Ooh.
In. Well, that made it easy.
That makes it real easy. Nothing for anybody else.
I don't think we're going to see Stuart even bet here.
No,
when you
with,
got
with
Russell
these
flatting.
actions
Yeah.
pre-flop.
Russell flatting that makes it feel like he's got a lot of pocket pairs.
Is Wheel gonna lead? He is.
200 into 735. That's unusual.
It is, but I think as Stuart, you just let it go. You have nothing going on here. You have one bad backdoor.
No spades even. If that was the 10 of spades, he might feel like he has to call once if they're deep enough, which they aren't. Wheel only has 1,200 back.
You might convince yourself that Wheel has a hand like Ace 10 or Jack 10 suited.
I mean,
and
ace
that
10
you
is a
can-
problem.
And that you can get him to fold that hand.
Oh, that's what you would need. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we picked
I mean, you. The other thing you can convince yourself is maybe Will has clubs, like the king queen of clubs or something.
Yeah, you could convince yourself of that.
But you also have Russell behind you who flatted that whole big amount. I don't see how we can do anything but fold here as Stuart.
he showed us on
Even
a
if we're
map
wearing
what
that
the big
ridiculous
bridge camp was,
hoodie,
and he
we still have to
drove
fold.
Stuart, the spilled paint young.
Yeah,
That's what they call him.
the spilled paint. They've been calling him that for a long time.
Yep. Before the hoodie even. And so he started thinking, what is the apparel that I can use to...
Stuart, by the way, not insta-folding at all here.
Looks like a raise is coming, and this is not going to be well-timed from
Yeah.
Stuart.
Did he announce like a?
because they were setting the borders.
That is
so
a.
we grabbed
That is clearly a raise. This is pretty interesting. So he's.
you know?
And
Wheel
there's
just
this
moves in.
insta shove and Stuart, of course, insta folds. So he thought Wheel was leading weak,
Yeah.
which Wheel often does, but not that time.
Wheel shows 110.
Yeah,
which-
Stuart's like, well, obviously it's almost certainly 210s, right?
Or else you don't know what you're doing, because 3-bet shoving 110 there is.
10-7 suited? You
I
can have
guess.
10-7 suited, maybe.
Sweet Dan prop money.
I'm the worst better of all time.
I mean, if you lose to him,
I think Wheel's small bet induce that.
Yeah. So it's like you have 2 9s, right? Like you're trying
Yeah.
to like get cheap and like see where you are, and I'm gonna tell you you're losing.
I've definitely convinced myself of the same thing that Stuart convinced himself of right there.
Yeah.
Many times.
Absolutely, and it works a lot, but
Yeah.
it does not always work.
I didn't think
Sometimes, and you feel pretty dumb every time it doesn't. You
Yeah.
know, it's like that's a lot of chips. I
Yeah.
didn't have to do that. Yeah. But when it works, it feels great.
Call 20, call 20. So what's the big motorcycle
Wonka limping the king jack.
Yeah, and the small blind on the button straddle scenario.
that is in North Dakota?
Sturgis?
Sturgis, yeah. And they have the same guys come to Vegas.
Stuart looks like he's going to put in a raise here. Try and get back on the horse. Wonka definitely not folding.
I would not expect it, although it is a big raise.
It is, but king jack suited. Oh my goodness, he is folding. I'm
He's-
wrong again.
Out of position, and it was a very big raise. Russell's not folding, though.
Yeah. That would be another reason why I thought he would call those, because he's got a hand that plays well multi-way, and Russell's definitely calling behind.
Yeah, fair enough.
But he's out of position to both players, and he's pretty happy now that he folded.
Well, Stuart should win this hand.
I said, I bet that she wouldn't
Yeah,
go up
Stuart
this
doesn't have to
tube.
bet too big on this board either, I don't think.
Up the tube or down the tube?
Down the tube.
Okay.
I said I'd give her
Just sucks when you're wrestling. You call that
Up
the big raise, and you just miss so badly. You know, there's nothing going on.
You backdoor straight draw.
Oh God, my wife said, honey.
I guess on one level, it's nice that you don't have to like make marginal calls, though.
So we left. She said, "Pull your head
If all decisions are easy, then life is easy, man.
clothes off."
That's the philosophy.
What's wrong with life being easy? Is that bad?
No, I said I'm saying that's good.
Oh, yeah.
Well, she didn't do it.
I'm all about
I
easy
don't know, 'cause
decisions.
we left.
Yeah.
Like, drown or eat an Oreo. I'm like, eat an Oreo. You know, wear shoes or stab your feet with pencils. Wear shoes.
Yeah, those are pretty good examples of easy decisions that we face every day.
That would have been great. Or like she's going up the tube and someone's going down the tube. You know, and then she's naked and these two people are stuck together.
She would have got stuck.
And it's like an 8-year-old boy coming down. That's okay.
4 diamonds, incoming, 4 diamonds.
He suffocates between her boobs.
What are we talking about here?
I don't know. We do have a 3-way pot.
And your wife wasn't too happy that you even made the proposition.
It was midnight. They were giving away.
Well,
the
something
heart
for everybody.
on stage.
Yeah, quite a thing for Russell.
You know, it's
A 9 would be
fun.
Disaster.
a bit of a disaster for Sam.
Yep.
We parked on a side street. There was
Very
like
straightforward. Continue.
10 cop cars. They
Russell's
all
up
had
next.
cases of zip ties.
Probably this should just be a call, right, with this kicker?
Yeah, I like a call.
Digital Dan just gets out of the way after the call. Good job, Digital One.
I looked like a 9
Was she contemplating
for just a second.
I mean,
yeah,
it's-
she wanted
if
to
you
do
flip it upside down, man.
all in?
And then the guys that were, they were all
Will Sam bet again?
you know, Harley
I
guys.
think he's supposed to. He's
To
supposed
fold
to
out a
rep the
10?
king, yeah.
Will you be able to fold out a 10 if it's Russell? I don't know if you can. That's my concern.
I guess maybe not. In general, I like betting,
She
though.
said, honey, we're out of here. This isn't going to happen.
Russell obviously never folding.
I feel like a raise would be a mistake here.
I agree.
Motorcycle mama's gonna
He is going to raise, though. He's going to make a 230. Very small raise.
Well, he might squeeze a little extra out of Sam like this.
Yeah, if you're Sam, of course, you're always worried about the fact the board is paired. You could be drawing dead. And as we see, a 9 would be a very bad card for him. He's got 4 outs.
Well, he hits a queen on the river here, it looks like.
Yeah.
He has called the turn.
He had, it wasn't. No, this was on the river, I guess, when this. So it went. Russell just called, and then when the river came.
That's
No, I think Russell bet 230. So Russell didn't raise.
I knew there was a reason.
I'm not exactly sure what happened
It seems
here.
like, at least according to the action, right? Russell had called, and we missed it, and then the river came out, and then he led with 230.
That could be what happened.
I think Sam may have to call now.
Yeah, sort of.
Like
you
you're
know,
beating queens and tens.
moments.
It's like it's the people's Vegas.
Yeah.
There's the call. It doesn't feel good. Yeah. What do you think? Think you should just fold that?
It's close.
It sucks when they lead like that. You know, they often have it.
Yeah.
But not always. If he had ace, I don't know, queen 10, I don't know.
Oh shit, we did. Oh yeah. We just barely missed it though.
Welcome back.
Hope
Can we
you
go
enjoyed
bigger?
that
20 bucks?
multimedia presentation
20 bucks. 14.
Yes.
422.
about nitrogen sports. Looks like we are we bomb potting it up here?
I think we're bomb potting it up.
Looks like we're going $20 bomb pot.
Oh, baby. It's time to get a little bit hurt.
Yeah.
Somebody at least.
I've never actually.
Yep. Bigger pots mean more pain.
So that makes sense. That's crazy. Looking.
That's what we're all here for.
Yep. I mean, no one goes to see kittens getting pet by the Rock. They go to see people getting killed by the Rock, right? And when you go to the movies, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People didn't watch Fear Factor because they loved listening to Joe Rogan talk. Oh, wait. Maybe they did.
Yeah.
It turns out.
Good try. All right. 8, king, 4, 2 clubs. 9, king, 4, 2 hearts. Russell has the nut flush draw on top.
Yeah, I love him.
And a pair of tens.
Mutual Admiration Society. You guys.
Maybe we'll learn other players' hands eventually.
No, come on. That's crazy. Digital Dan with top pair in both spots, but that's it. Probably just has to fold it, and he does. Will doing the I'm thinking thing that he does,
Sometimes he is thinking.
but not always.
No, sometimes he's just doing the I'm thinking thing. We don't know what Wheel has, which is fun.
I mean, hearts seem like a pretty good possibility.
Yeah.
Well, having it, an 8 with something else wouldn't be so bad.
Yeah, an 8 is good.
There is hearts for Will and top pair. Actually, top 2 on the bottom and hearts. Wow, what a monster flop for him on the bottom.
Yeah. Kind of surprised he didn't raise the flop even.
Well, he didn't have a strong top.
Yeah, but just clean up equity, players behind you.
It was a real bet, though. It wasn't like a $10 bet.
Yeah.
Right. Here we are on the river.
Wheel makes the flush on the bottom, and he's winning on top.
Yeah, Russell really doesn't have anything going on at all anymore. He can either bluff or he can get the hell out. Bluffing isn't a terrible idea when the flush card comes in on the bottom.
Well, as we see, it would definitely not work.
No. Wheel just checks it back.
That's a bit tight, I think.
Yeah, I would think like I'm usually winning at least one of these boards because of the hearts on the bottom.
Did he not see the flush, maybe? That would make the most sense.
I think he just thinks he's too weak on the top, and he's afraid that he's just going to be chopping anyway. But he could bet to try and win the whole pot. That's what he'd be doing, I think, if he bet. There's no real value to be gotten otherwise, almost ever. It's hard to imagine if you get called, you're winning the whole pot.
It's slightly possible.
Pretty unlikely, but it is possible.
That's what they said about putting a man on the moon.
What?
But then they did it. People said it would be hard.
Yeah, it was hard.
Well,
They were right.
are you saying Wheel doesn't have the determination of JFK?
JFK's dead. Of course he does.
That's a good point.
Thank you. I am saying, though, that if you gave Wheel like a compass and a rubber band and some chewed up Wrigley's spearmint gum, he could put a man on the moon.
Of
Just
course
with
he
that.
could.
He doesn't even need a man. He just needs those things. He'll build a man and put him on the moon. That guy is smart.
Okay. He's basically MacGyver now.
Yeah, he's better than MacGyver.
Space MacGyver.
I'd like to see MacGyver create a man
Space MacGyver.
out of a paperclip. And I don't mean like a likeness of a man. I mean an actual organism.
That is impressive.
Yeah, Space MacGyver. They're making a series about Wheel, too.
Does every player have a deal?
Well, this show is very popular, of course.
Yeah.
You can look at the views for yourself and see that. And, more and more guys are getting signed. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Good.
Dan Ross, where do you think he is right now?
He's shooting a pilot.
He's having a meeting with Netflix. It's called Overboard, the Dan Ross story. It's based on a true story. Not his, though. It's a different true story.
A different Dan
some
Ross.
other dude. No, it's just some other guy.
Why is it called the Dan Ross story?
Because Dan Ross is telling it
Oh,
about some other dude.
he's a narrator?
No.
Okay.
Back to the game. So Stewie Younger, he must be
Yeah, he's doing the
He's
straddle.
doing a straddle, an under the gun straddle, yeah. No way he's min raising 7-3 of diamonds under the gun. We know that.
Mustache with the top pair.
Stu Younger with bottom pair and a back door. Actually, 2 back doors. Looks like $60 into 80.
This might just take it down.
Yeah, I think it
Stewart
will.
might call once, but he could also fold. And that would be fine.
I expect to fold out of position with this weak a hand. But, you know, I am sometimes surprised. And once again, I am surprised. That card did not improve the younger one of them. The mustachioed one bets. Stuart wondering if he was in the Antarctic, would he just blend in?
only one way to find out, Stuart.
Yeah.
Head on down.
And he lets it go.
I guess Mustache is mostly trying to get called by weaker tens there.
Yeah, maybe charge some of the straight draws.
Yeah.
Can't be that bad to bet a reasonable 10 there. You know, Stuart has a lot of 10s because he was the straddle and there was no raise pre.
Sure.
So he has all the 10s.
Way late to the game, but
The question really is, if you get called, do you consider ever betting the river, trying to go real thin? against the
Unimproved?
10?
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's unlikely, right? But it'd be cool.
It would be cool,
oh my god, it is
but it would be also probably wrong.
Yeah, usually probably not going to make money doing it, but
We're on season
I love it when it works. You know,
6, episode 8.
Dan Ross is back. Apparently, I'm getting word that
God, I love
Overboard, the Dan Ross story, is no go with Netflix.
Did he get at least like a nice gift basket with like an iPod Nano
They
in
do
it?
not do that at Netflix.
No iPod Nanos?
No iPod Nanos. It's all Microsoft Zunes.
Oh. Well, those
And
are the future.
one bag.
So we have a limp from Russell in the hijack and 2 crappy hands in the big blind,
I know it's old. Like,
and no one has anything.
Wasn't the flop king 3? Why does it say ace?
I don't know, but it doesn't matter.
The technology lies to us at all times, and this is my fear for the future.
Yeah. Also, it's always listening. You know, even the poker software is always listening
Yep.
and reporting back.
say a bunch of stuff.
To who? We don't know.
Well, that's part of the problem, isn't
Yeah.
it? If I knew who they were reporting to, I'd feel better.
yeah. Like if it was an evil overlord, but you knew the evil
Yeah.
overlord's name.
The devil I know.
Yeah.
Like,
Ran in a wheelchair.
evil aliens intent on destroying the world? Great, just tell me.
Yeah. Just
just
let
wa-
me know, and we'll call it a day.
Yeah. And then I can go about my day in peace. You know?
Oh, you know where we're at is one thing.
But maybe Bill Gates? I don't know. Could be. Someone tell me. Anyway, mustache under the gun, pocket fives.
Just for a minute, he had pocket fives. Just a whisper of pocket fives. You might get him back though. We'll see.
He's looking around like someone stole his cheese. Oh, I see what happened. We have a straddle on the button.
Yeah. Then we got the limp, and now fives.
Bunch of good hands here. All 3 of them very playable.
Russell not as good of a hand.
Well, it's only 20 though. It's just a limp at least.
You know,
Doesn't change what I said,
No, it doesn't. I was just,
yeah.
putting a happy face.
as you do every day.
Yep. Sam with the only guy with a really terrible hand.
Yep.
Exciting.
Naked, which never happened.
Dan
Top-
Ross, top
yeah.
pair.
Gut shot for Russell. That is it. 2 back doors for Mr. Younger.
Yeah, but the straight back door is like never gonna get paid off.
Marjorie Tyrell.
Hey, there's a good card for Stu.
No, not Tyrell.
Yep.
Or was it Tyrell?
She's a Tyrell.
Oh, that was it? Oh,
She was gonna do those.
Mr. Ross will bet. So I'm assuming we're just going to get folds all the way back to Stewart, and then it's going to be interesting to see what he wants to do
I think
here.
you have to put chips in the pot. You could raise if you want to, but you have to put chips in the pot.
Because you have the nut flush draw
Yeah.
specifically, because you could be up against worse flush draws.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think raising might be better than calling even.
Yeah. It looks like he is going to pull out the raising chips.
I don't think he's getting it through, but it's gonna be an iffy one on the river if he bets again for
Yep.
Dan Ross.
I think Dan Ross probably can't fold here either after checks on the flop and Stewart checks again. It's just hard for Dan to have many better hands than this. He can have 6-4, I guess. Maybe he can have pocket fours a little bit, but there's just not many hands he has that's better than a good top pair.
This is on tape.
What's Stewart supposed to have? It looks like he is going to let it go, though.
Wow, that is a bit of a surprise, actually.
Yeah. Stuart says you can look at one.
He's gonna know
Stuart.
right away.
There it is.
Oh, got him.
Yeah, the 5 of clubs means you're always ahead.
Yep.
There's no card Stuart could have.
Pretty much the ace of clubs means you're always ahead too, right? Like Stuart's not
Yes.
check raising middle pair, and he's not limping ace king that often.
I know, but I would just say, but the 5 of clubs
Yeah.
is like no way you couldn't be ahead.
Right.
I guess you could be up against king 5 of clubs, so you're only a little bit ahead.
It is a good
But that's
shot.
it.
It is a
Yep.
good shot.
And,
It is a
and
good
so
shot.
we ended up. I thought, oh, they were talking about that.
So you're like you'll just look.
Although
at
actually, I
any
guess
queen
ace
show,
5 is
any
the same.
show
The
related
same
to a
amount of
queen.
ahead. It's the same amount of outs.
Yep.
It's all the same. Anyway, looks like we have another button straddle. And Dan Ross, who has just made a fool by Stuart. Looks like he folds the jack 8 off.
That's clearly tilt. Russell likes limping.
He really does. This is both Mustache and him. I understand why Mustache completes. I'm really surprised Russell is going to just over limp the ace 10.
Sam's gonna just try to blow it all up,
Yep.
and I don't think he's getting either of these guys to fold.
I don't either. And it'll be interesting to see how he then continues on certain flops.
Well, he's definitely got the other side of the deck than they do. That's to his advantage as far as what's gonna flop.
It is, but of course, all the boards that he thinks he should be betting are boards that connect with these guys pretty strongly.
Yep.
So we'll see.
Look at Maria.
We'll see how this plays out.
You know,
Well, it's not a good spot for Sam now.
Probably
And I don't think this is a board you can really bet. It's too coordinated when two people call.
Yeah, no, he's good.
You'd also really prefer to see an ace or a king up there, I think. And he does check it back.
Another jack. Russell should feel good about that.
Both Russell and Mustache should feel. I mean, Mustache shouldn't feel like he has the best hand, but they could have both taken shots at this. I imagine Sam's just going to let it go mostly, right? How could he raise here and rep anything?
Well-
Oh my goodness!
Is he floating? No, he's just gonna raise.
Is it because Russell bet tiny? Russell bet 45. So he just cannot help himself. I get this.
But it's not a good story. He's saying he has a jack
Yep.
or a set that turned into a full house and didn't bet the flop.
Not just a jack, a good jack, like ace
Yeah.
jack, right? Or maybe king jack.
The story's bad, but it might work enough to be profitable anyway.
Well, Mustache understandably folds the king queen, and Russell looks like does call. Will Sam pull the trigger on the river? We know he's drawing dead. Well, he does pick up showdown value, but
It's not real showdown value.
maybe once in a while Russell can have king queen and play it like this. Not impossible.
Or a 4, maybe, but you wouldn't think
Less
so.
I think king queen's more likely.
Yeah.
If I'm Sam, I like continuing here.
Yeah. It's still a bad story, but it really might work.
Yep.
Did she turn you down?
Russell has.
Down one time?
No.
It's not the top of his range, but it's pretty high up there.
He has jacks in his range.
Yeah. Actually, he's going to fold a lot of hands worse than this on the turn, I guess. Looks like he's going to throw this one away, too.
It's only 260. Sam's really trying to make it look like a milky bet.
Oh, man. That
Wow.
was like ballet. That was so graceful
He
the way
just
that
got
happened.
it through. He just.
Oh, he's
Oh,
like-
and he's gonna show.
He could have jack 6. No,
He made
couldn't.
it 100 pre-flop. Now
Yeah.
he had 7-6, so it's not that odd to think he could have jack 6. I guess.
I guess, but you'd assume it was 6-6 and he was bluffing, if
Yeah.
anything. Ace 6.
Just like trolled it.
Ambitious move from Sam. Really paid off there.
I mean, I think Russell's sizing is what caused the whole thing on the turn. He bet 45
Yep.
into like 300 and
yeah,
something.
I think that's right.
That's the one that we
And in fact, it gave it away, right? It gave away that he really didn't want to put too much money in the pot. And
I sat next to Tilly.
wow, Sam betting so small on the
I
river.
had a Fitbit on.
That is something.
No, this is irrelevant.
I believe you that it is relevant.
You feel really good when you get one of those through, like Sam just did.
Oh, that was amazing.
Side bet on how it's relevant.
If you're really good.
You feel really good.
Oh yeah,
Why is that
feels
funny?
amazing.
I mean,
Yeah.
So,
It is.
so wish she would watch my heart rate on this Fitbit. And so we got to talking about what gets your heart rate up, bluffs or the
Or
nuts.
having it. Yeah.
Ooh, Dan Ross looks like he's gonna try to pick up the money
She did
using all small chips.
hook her up.
He makes it like 90.
She's really into it.
85.
It's a pretty small raise. I guess Wonka did fold before the king jack of clubs in the same spot. There's no chance he's folding 6s.
No.
And Sam, of course, going to come along as well. And Dan Ross can chalk this one up to, oh, well.
Oops.
Should have stayed in that meeting a little bit longer.
Well, he's got a 5 and a gut shot.
Well, and
Pretty
also,
good flop for 5 deuce.
Also, that ace-high nature of the board means if these guys don't have an ace, you're just going to win most of the
This
time.
is Dan Ross's pot to lose.
Yep.
I know he's got showdown value, but I think he should bet.
I 100% agree with you. He should bet to deny equity and just not to get blown off the pot later. He doesn't have to bet the turn if he gets called. Also, if someone's got an ace and Dan improves, it's going to be a scary board. This is a good time to bet. And I don't see how anyone can call him. There goes the pair.
Top. Top. Top.
I get to pick.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, you can pick. You can pick.
It's just
Yeah.
a-
Yeah. Whatever.
It's your birthday.
Yeah. Birthday boy.
Deuce.
4-2-2.
4-2-2.
Can I do one more?
Yay. I get to see a flop.
He may have just showed the 5 deuce. Couldn't tell.
I think he showed 1 card. I think they're playing show 1 card.
Aha.
They're all the same to me.
Last hand.
Looks like a bomb pot.
Sure.
It's like a $20 bomb pot. Everyone loves $20 bomb pots.
Everybody loves it.
4-2-2.
Mystery board?
You know what they say? More money,
For TV.
No, I vote no on
more
this.
more fame.
One
Yeah.
more hand, mystery
Don't hate the
board.
player, hate the fame.
That's part of it.
Even for Dan's birthday.
Yeah, it's my birthday. This is my birthday.
He did just turn 40 too. That's like a
That's a
notable
milestone.
year.
All right, some double board Omaha action.
One more hour.
One more hour.
Okay, we'll do mystery board.
This is 4-2-2, right?
Yep, 4-2-2.
We will get data eventually.
Yeah, I'm excited for when we get that. Here we go. There's 160 in the pot.
That's good to know.
There's probably a flop. We can't see it.
Looks like Russell is either betting or calling 100.
He's probably betting, but it's unclear. You're right. Hey, there's a flop.
Wonka does have top and bottom on the top board.
Russell with a nice spot there.
Wow, kings and jacks. That's
Yeah, he's open-ended and then got 2 overpairs on the bottom.
better than 1 overpair.
You know, more ways to make sets and the like.
Oh, and Sam has aces.
Wow.
So he's actually got Russell beaten.
He also
both
has
spots.
spades on top.
And he blocks top pair on the bottom.
Digital Dan's got a set on top.
Oh.
And hearts on the bottom.
Wow, these are quite some hands.
They are really the first 4 guys all have real hands. I guess not Wheel. Sorry, Wheel.
And Wonka's got a 2 pair on both boards.
Set for Dan Ross on the bottom. Did he just fold? He couldn't have just thrown away the set, right? He did.
Wow.
He just throws it away. I guess he feels he can't win the top, and it's a wet board, and there's too many players.
Yeah, he was right.
I mean, he was ahead on bottom.
He was right that he can't win the top.
Well,
Probably.
probably. I don't remember. I don't know what else he had anymore. 7 and and he now couldn't win the bottom either. It's Digital Dan makes a set of 10s on both boards.
Wow. I don't think we've seen this before, playing double board.
I'm
that
not aware of
anybody's
it.
hit the case card to hit double set.
All right, so they check to Digital Dan. He's got the nuts on the bottom with a redraw. He's got the second nuts on top. There's no reason to believe you don't have the best hand everywhere. 415 in the pot. Big bet.
This is a tough spot for both opponents.
Let's start with Wonka. Wonka's got queens and 4s on top. He's got 4s and deuces on the bottom. I think he's just going to fold.
Yeah, the 4s and deuces are pretty bad.
Even queens and 4s, and now you can't feel that good about. So I expect we're going to see a fold from Wonka. Russell's got it tougher.
Because he has open-ended on top.
Open-ended on top, and he's got, 4 cards he can hit on either board, which you're going to feel at least pretty good about.
Yeah.
Very early on.
Wonka's taking
Wonka's
some extra
thinking
time.
about it.
I mean, it's a pretty good hand to hit both boards this well.
I don't think it's as good as it looks, man. I think this is fool's gold, having this kind of stuff. Like, it's only top and bottom and bottom and bottom. I mean, it's a bomb pot, man. Digital Dan bet into 3 other players. It's just a lot.
Well, it looks like maybe Wonka's
He
a Kate
calls.
Hudson fan.
Wow.
He's a Kate Hudson fan because fool's gold.
Oh, yeah.
2003 or something.
Nice. Russell, of course, calls as well. And here we go. What do we got here? It's hard to know.
6 on top makes Wonka a better 2 pair. Doesn't improve Russell. 7 on the bottom.
Does
Looks like Dan's
nothing.
still winning both
Yep.
boards.
I don't know if Dan's going to get called anymore.
He
Russ-
should definitely bet for value.
Oh, 100% he's going to bet for value. I have to believe. Even though there are straights out there. No one's showing any strength. They both did check to him. There's 1.3K in the pot.
I think you should
Dan
bet.
has 1.2. I guess he can just jam.
You can. I don't know if you can hope to get called where you win both boards.
You can get called by a lower set in one spot where someone's calling to win
Yeah.
half the pot pretty straightforwardly.
Yeah,
I
maybe
think.
jamming's good.
I like jamming. You have less than pot anyway. I say do it.
Jamming or something like 500 are the options in my mind.
Okay, that's fair. I'm told this is the last hand of this session, of this episode.
Well, we'll be back next
2
time
weeks. 2 weeks
for
from
some
here.
more poker time. New
Yep.
session.
But let's see, how much Dan decides to go for. It looks like he's going to go more in the 500 direction.
Looks like exactly 500, perhaps.
Can't tell if it's 5 or 4.
It's one of those.
Looks like it's
400.
4.
Pretty small. I don't know if Wonka can call.
I don't see how Wonka can call.
Yeah. I
There's
don't.
straights. There's better hands. He's got a guy behind him.
I
How
don't
can
think
he
either
call?
player can call.
I think Russell. I could see Russell deciding to call more than Wonka, honestly, because there's no one behind him, and he just has to win one of the two.
Yeah, but he
pots.
has a significantly worse hand than Wonka on both boards.
Right, but he doesn't have anyone behind him, so he just has
Yeah.
to win half the pot. You know?
Yeah.
He just needs kings to be good somewhere. It isn't, but he needs Dan to be very strong in one spot and not two.
Wonka's really taking his time with this one.
This is really interesting to me. I wonder why Wonka feels like he can consider calling here when he's got Russell behind him even.
Maybe he thinks he's likely to be winning one of the two against Digital Dan with 2 pair on both boards.
Right. And honestly, see, it's the same spot really as Russell with kings. It's not that different. But Wonka's got someone behind him.
Yeah.
I'd be really surprised if Wonka calls. I was surprised last time though. So he's really taking his time. Now, admittedly, he knows this is the end, so he can use all his time cards. If he has any question at all about it, he can take his time because this is the last hand, and those time cards have no more value. And there's
He
a
calls.
call. Wow. Now Russell can't call.
It would be shocking if Russell called. And
Wonka is really counting on Russell to fold, and that Dan is very strong in one spot.
Russell
Oh,
calls!
my goodness.
What a deal for Digital Dan. He gets to scoop the entire pot 3 ways.
I'm really shocked that Dan got 2 calls there. Wow. And Dan sort of out of nowhere wins a 2.5K pot at the very end.
That is shocking.
He pulled that one out at the very end. It's like the first 20 minutes of flight. He's Denzel'd that thing.
Congratulations to Denzel and to Dan. We'll see you guys next time.
Can we just keep playing even if you guys don't want to film?